Hello there, all my lovely jewelry makers. So I thought today it was time to do another haul because it's been quite a while since I've done one and I have accumulated quite a few things over a longer period of time. So this is not just from one purchase or something like that. And I kind of thought it'd be fun to share some of this with you. Now what I'm also going to try and do is leave links in the description box down below just for anything that I can find and things in case you're interested in some of it as well. So why don't we just jump right into it? Now I think I'm going to start out with one of my favourite things, which is hematite gemstone beads in different colours and also this time in different shapes. So let me just kind of get them all in here because I kind of went on a bit of a spree. Again, not just one spree, but this is over several times because I've been working on something recently kind of behind the scenes and working on some new ideas. So I've been getting some new shapes and colours of some hematite gemstone beads here to kind of have some different choices, but also something just to kind of play around with the ideas that I'm experimenting with. So this is, where do I put this? Basically all of them. So you can see there's quite a few, but again, like I said, it's over a longer period of time. And there's different shapes like stars, hats, regular rounds as well in different sizes and some new colours that I haven't tried before. So why don't I see about unpacking some of this and we'll have a closer look. So let's start with these here. So regular rounds, now they are faceted, but it's not the shaped ones just yet. We'll start with these that I've used plenty of times before, and these are also colours that I've used plenty of times, but basically you could call it stocked up on some more. So starting down here, I got several strands of each as well. Just because, like I said, I'm kind of using them for something that I'm working on, experimenting with, some new ideas, and also just to make sure I'm not running out and that I have different colour choices available to me depending what I need. So I've got some typical silver ones, always brilliant. I always love having these in my stash. They're so sparkly. So 3mm and tiny 2mm. I love the really small ones. So I've got a few of them. And then the blue ones as well. Again, they're 3mm, also so sparkly. And then the purple, of course, can't not get the purple. And also, of course, can't not get the rainbow coloured or multicoloured. I just love how they look as well with all those different colours. And they work really well with actually a lot of things. A lot of other kind of colours and stones, maybe more than you'd think. And then also these. Now these are the rose gold coloured, and these are a bit newer of the colourways that they started doing. They're not new anymore, but they're kind of newer than the other ones, and I just absolutely love them. I have a few of these already in some other sizes, so I kind of just wanted to get some more. Again, these are 3mm just because they'll fit nicely with what it is that I'm working on. And what I then also got this time around, because these are all typical colours that I normally always get and always have in my stash, I actually tried out some new colours that I don't and wouldn't really normally buy. So first of all, the green one, and there's no specific reason that I wouldn't buy it, it's just not something I've ever really kind of got before. But this time I got it specifically because it actually, I thought it would mesh nicely with certain things more than some of the others. So I kind of thought it'd be nice to have that choice. And still very sparkly. The final colour is again a bit of a newer one, I think, compared to some of the typical silver, blue and purple ones. It's kind of like a rose coloured but still multicoloured. Again, I got a 3mm and a 2mm, still faceted, but it's kind of muted in a way, so it's not really bright, but it's actually really lovely. And of course, so the two sizes, they fit nicely together in that same colorway. But it's kind of, like I said, a bit rosy, but also there's greens in there, which this would also actually fit nicely, I think, if you combine it with that other green. So I kind of felt like I just had to get them to try them out. And again, they might match nicer with some other stones that I'm using compared to some of the other colors. So really this was about stocking up on some of them, and so I don't want to run out of something that I need, but also kind of just having a nice choice in colors depending whether something might match nicer than other things. Now what I'm kind of using these for currently, obviously I use these for a lot of things, but what I'm working on behind the scenes is, I'm not going to show you everything because it's still kind of something I'm working on and experimenting with, but just giving you a little sneak peek. It's basically to do with wire crochet. So I'm kind of working on capturing cabochons, and then I'm using these stones to kind of decorate them more, create frames around them. And as you can see here, this is a stone, it is an agate multicolour, but mainly purple and green, where the rainbow ones fit really nicely with that, I thought, instead of say just using silver or something. So that is what I'm currently working on, different sizes and shapes of cabochon, capturing them with wire crochet, and also different ways of doing it. So it's something that will be coming in the future. I'm debating how to do it. I might be considering doing like a course on it rather than individual videos. So yeah, keep an eye out for that if you're interested. But that's what I'm currently kind of using these for mostly. And in the same vein, so let's just move these away. Oh, that sparkles so beautiful, and with all them colours. I could just stare at stuff like this for ages. But anyway, put them aside, and then moving on to some of the shaped ones. So start with the star ones here. And these are something I haven't really bought before, but I'm kind of getting them now because, again, I'm using them in similar lines as the ones I just showed you to basically incorporate into wire crochet mainly. And I'll come up with some ideas of how to use these, and I kind of think it's really cute. So again, I just wanted to get a bunch of colours so I can match them depending what other stones I'm using and what wire I'm using. And these are basically the ones I've got. So down here, these are technically brown, but I only got them because they're kind of the closest to the coppery wire. They're not obviously quite like the copper wire, but they're the closest that is available that I've been able to find. So I got 2 of them. And then 2 obviously of the rainbow, 2 of the purple, 2 of silver, and then 2 of the blue. All the basic colours. So they're about, I think they're about 4 mil or something. And they are just, first of all, really cute just as they are. And you can't really go wrong with stars. But like I said, it's kind of the ideas that I've been playing around with to attach them. Because otherwise previously, I have seen them before, but I've never got them because I've never really known what to use them for or how to use them. But I've had this idea now, and yeah, basically I'm just making sure I've got all the colours and playing around. So the principle is, I'm not going to show you the ones I've already done because it's something a little bit different, but I will do in the future obviously. It's again basically attaching it to the wire crochet, mainly along the outsides of cabochons and things like that. Because the thing is, with these, where the hole is, it's obviously so you want the stars to lay flat, so you can see the actual star shape. So that's why I kind of come up with the idea to use them this way. So those were the stars. And moving straight on to the hats. These are the ones that I've got. So again, you can see some different colours, but also here's some different sizes. So first of all, we got, of course, the rainbow ones. Really nice and cute. And this is where the hole goes from the cleft down to the point. So they stack on top of each other like that. And the same with these ones. These both are purple. Now I got these from different sellers on purpose because sometimes with, especially the purple, I find it's kind of different what you get. So as you can see, these are quite different from each other. This is more of a, I would say, bright purple, and there's more blue to this. And then the other one here is more where there's more of the gold. And personal preference, obviously, it doesn't matter what you prefer, but I personally prefer the ones where they're more blue toned to the purple and they're brighter rather than where it's more gold. So that's why I kind of ordered both, because on computer screens it can be kind of hard to tell what you're actually going to be getting. So I tried ordering both, and this is definitely my favorite. I'm not going to not use that one. I'm still going to use the other ones, but I just wanted to make sure that I kind of got the ones that I do prefer. And then, of course, we have blue. So again, really nice and cute, and they're very reflective as well. So we'll add a lot of shine, and of course the basic, I'm going to say purple then, I meant silver. Got purple on the brain. almost like a mirror finish, how reflective they are. And then these ones here, they are larger, so they're about 6mm, whereas these are 4mm, and they're in a connected strand rather than a single, so it's still just one strand. But these ones are also where the holes are from side to side, so they're kind of stacked sideways. If I can just get that flipped. So again, that was also the reason this was the smallest size you could get these ones in that I found. So just to kind of have a different option, and also maybe these could be used in something different. I don't necessarily think these will be used for the wire crochet that I'm doing, but I just saw them and I really liked the look of them, and just to experiment a little bit with them having the hole in a different way, and obviously being a bit larger as well, the multicolored of course. And then also this lovely rose gold color. I really do love that on the hematite. I'm so glad they started doing that on the hematite stones. It's so beautiful. So yeah. Oh, wait a minute, actually. I forgot one. So there's this one as well. So this is a bit more like these. It's larger, also about 6mm, and in silver. But these ones then stack with the hole from the cleft to the point, just like the smaller ones. So again, a little bit different. Larger ones, but kind of with the hole in the other way. So yeah, and these two actually go really nice together. Of course they do, it's two metal colors, but so shiny, and even though these aren't faceted, it's just, I love the finish on the hematite beads as well. They're just so shiny and metallic. So yeah, that's all the hat ones. Again, these smaller ones are meant for kind of the idea, same principle as the stars, where I want to be using it for the wire crochet, but the other ones are kind of more just to have in my stash and maybe try and experiment with one day. Now the final hematite strands I got, I have to just show you because they are so cute. Again, this is just kind of something I saw and thought I have to have them. I did also think though I can still use these for similar things as the stars and the hats, so for the wire crochet. But these are little butterflies. If I can try to show you up close. So they're just beautifully shaped as cute little butterflies. And the hole goes from, it's kind of like the hats, some of the hats, the small ones, from the top to the bottom there. And they actually have carvings on them. They are double-sided as well. And they are just really cute. And of course this really beautiful blue colour. I don't remember if they came in other colours, so it was just the blue from the ones I found. But I just had to have these because they are just really cute. And they also would be really cute to just kind of have them as dangles on their own for earrings or something like that. But actually what I realised is that the main hole goes there from the top to the bottom, but there's actually a little hole right there in the middle as well. So you could do something else with them, like fasten them in a different way, but obviously that would be completely preference, personal choice. But yeah, I just had to get them and just show them as well because I think they are so cute. And then moving on to one of my other favorite things, which is just tiny gemstone beads in general. So I've got a few here. Let's just get these out first of all. And I just really love tiny gemstone beads. There's something about them, and different, obviously different types of gemstones. So I have a few strands here. And I got them from online. It's actually something I got through my mum because it's from a Danish shop. So she kind of bought them for me back home and then sent them over. So I don't have the details of all of them on me at the moment, but obviously I can look that up later online or ask her if she still has the receipt. And obviously I requested these, so I know what I bought, but might just be unsure about one or two of them. So just lining them up here, just looking at them and admiring them already. And they are really tiny. So we're talking, I think 2mm except for one. Possibly, I think that's 3mm. But just look how tiny, but still how shiny and sparkly they are and impactful. So let's have a little look. Let's start from the top. Now this one here is a mix of different colours. So I'm guessing this is probably agate or something. I don't quite remember, but I'm guessing it is, of different colour agate. Which I love multicolored strands as well, because they kind of just, either you can use them as they are because they just work, or you can separate out colours and just choose certain ones you want to use. So again, 2mm, very tiny. Then we have here, I think this is also, I think this is moss agate, which I love to use this for. I've made a ring previously, a Tree of Life ring, wirework ring, where I used tiny 2mm moss agate. So I kind of thought, can never go wrong having that moustache. And then here, I'm pretty sure this is an emerald strand. Lovely, pretty dark green colour, but still quite a bright colour. And again, different tones of green, and also the sparkle. Even though they're so small, I think they're all faceted. Yeah, they're all faceted. I think it's just so amazing they can facet these tiny beads. And then we have what looks to be labradorite. You can never go wrong with that. I love labradorite because it has that kind of grey base to it, but then it has all these beautiful colours that it just shines with in different angles and then the light. Here we've got everything, green, purple, blue, basically seeing a bit of everything. And even again, they're so tiny, there's a lot of colour coming off of them. So I had to have some of those, especially they would be lovely working together with if you're capturing the labradorite cabochon and then maybe adding some of these. And then here we have, I'm pretty sure this is tourmaline. Very, very gentle and delicate with the colours. So kind of like a pale pink as the base, but then different tones of some other colours, some green, some brown, some lighter colours in there as well. Really nice and delicate. And then let's just skip to the bottom one first of all. This one, I don't remember what it's called, but again, kind of similar to the one we just looked at, but just kind of more opaque. This has got some clarity to it. This is much more opaque, but again, that delicateness and almost romantic feel to it. Different tones of light pinks. And finally here we have 2 strands of the same, and this will be amazonite, which I do love. And there's a 2mm strand and then a 3mm strand. And again, I thought I had to get both sizes because they can work nicely together. And also again, obviously, if I'm capturing some amazonite cabochons, it'd be lovely to have these small stones to be able to go along with it. So I do love amazonite. It's very, I love that kind of delicate colour, but it's still kind of bright in a way. So very nice and sparkly as well. And then to go along with the tiny gemstone beads here, there's one more thing that I got, which is not beads, but they are still tiny gemstones. This is something I kind of came across and I thought I had to get some of these. Again, this is from back home through my mum, because there's a wholesale shop in Denmark that I love to go to when I'm there. And these are from there. So these are tiny little high quality emerald cut stones. So as you can see, very tiny. It's not like a cabochon that you can kind of just capture with wire or something else. So they are very tiny, and currently I don't have a plan what to use them for. The only thing I did think is I've been wanting to try and get into silver clay, copper clay and things like that for a long time. Haven't managed to do that yet, but it's something I would love to do, and I thought these would work perfect for that. So that's a little bit kind of why I got them as well. So I have them ready for when eventually I do get into silver clay and the metal clays in general. So I just kind of had to have a couple of these. So let's just put these out of the way as well. Again, that's how beautiful they all look together. Now, the last thing, it's not beads, but kind of bead related, are these here. So this is kind of more just for fun. Again, I just saw these randomly on a website when I was looking for some other things. I just get this open. Oops. And just get a few out so we can get the noise out of the way. And I just kind of fell for them because of the colours. Now, I love colours. Let's just get the bag out of the way. And I do love neon colours as well. It's not something I use the most anymore, really. Not for any reason, I just don't. But I do still love them. And these are basically little plastic cabochons. And like you saw, a pretty big bag of them. So they are 14mm in diameter and then apparently 4mm thick. So again, this was really just for fun because the brightness, the neon colours, they caught my eye. And I kind of thought a big bag of them, they didn't cost a fortune, obviously, because of what they're made of and that. So just to kind of have laying around in case I think of anything to use them for. So currently I don't have any plans, but I just kind of thought it'd be fun to have them in case I come up with something. And I do sometimes still miss using more bright colours, like neon colours, more often again, because I do love them. Kind of just make me happy to look at them. So I should really use them more often again. But anyway, those were just a little bit of fun. So next, these were also something I came across by accident. Basically browsing on a site for some other things, and then I saw these and thought, what's this? And when I realized what it was, I thought this might actually be the solution to a problem I've been having. So since, if you're familiar with story a little bit, I moved a little while ago, and this is the first time I now have my own workroom or studio, and I have a desk that I'm working on. Now what I've found since doing this is that it gets a little slippery sometimes working on here. Most of the time I will use my macrame board here as a surface to work on, but that tends to slip on the desk itself as well, so it's been a bit of a problem. So I saw these and thought they might be a solution to the problem, or might kind of replace it. So what these are basically some work mats. And of course I had to get some different colours because I also thought they might work well as backgrounds for videos if I need that. So first of all, let's start with this one. This one is actually, I think, the same colour on both sides. So this is like a dark grey. Now they have this kind of protective plastic on, which I haven't taken off yet. But you can see that's kind of the... So on one side is kind of just a flat texture, but then on the other side it's got these little hearts kind of turned into 4-leaf clovers. So this one looks a little dirty, but it can just be wiped down, I'm pretty sure. So they're supposed to be pretty anti-slip or non-slip. Obviously this still has the, if I just flip it maybe, the plastic thing on. So it's basically supposed to be non-slip work surface. But also, I was saying, because I like working on something, I don't like just working straight on the desk. First of all, to kind of protect the desk. But also, just, I prefer working on kind of some form of surface, which is why I've usually always used my macrame board. But then I thought these might be able to replace that. So this is the first one. Now the others are actually 2 colours. So this is obviously blue on the side where it has the pattern there with the hats or the 4-leaf clovers, but on the other side it's a light grey, which I kind of thought would be handy, so either side could be used. And again, multiple colours for the sake of maybe what I feel like, but also possibly for backgrounds for videos. For instance, for some things maybe the blue would work better, whereas for other things it would work better with a lighter grey, as opposed to, say, this one is a darker grey. So for instance, I will probably be using the darker grey like I do now with the backgrounds I have now when I'm doing something with either silver wire, because that can be hard to see against, say, the white background that I prefer to use if I can, or white cord or something. So that would be maybe the darker one. And otherwise I also got, of course, purple. Thankfully it was available in purple. It was only a few colours, but thankfully purple was one. But again, you can see this one has the purple on the kind of flat side, but then it's a lighter grey on the side with the pattern on. So that's opposite to the blue one. So that's why I kind of thought, I only really need one for using, but I kind of thought the different colours for the sake of possibly different backgrounds. And this is quite a nice purple as well. It's a bit on the darker side, but not too dark, and it's not too bright either. So I think it would work quite well as a background for videos, in case this might be actually quite nice for silver wire or something where it has a bit of contrast as opposed to just a white background where it'll be kind of hard to see it. So yeah, again, I haven't completely removed the plastic yet, and I haven't actually tried using them yet, but that is the point of these, and they are actually quite large. I don't have the measurements off the top of my head, but they are, I think about 39 centimeters, the short way here, which is just a bit over 15 inches. And they are pretty wide, because that was my thing. Again, I know they have measurements on the websites, but sometimes it can be hard to kind of visualize what that'll be like in real life. Obviously you can measure it out, but still, I was a bit concerned if they were going to be a bit small, but actually they are not. Now lengthwise, that is just about 77 centimeters, which is just a bit over 30 inches. So they are actually quite large, which is nice, because that's one thing that would annoy me if they're too small. You kind of feel like you have a restricted work area, especially because my desk is quite large. So they are pretty nice in size as well, so I'm not going to feel restricted in that way. So yeah, I just kind of felt like giving that a try, and I thought I'd share it with you as well. I thought it was a good idea in relation to the issue I'm having with slipping on the desk, but then also maybe it'd be nice to use for backgrounds and things like that. So a nice little work match, you could say, in some different colors. Now moving on from the beads, I'm gonna move on to some findings. So again, I kind of just came across these on a website that I was looking at anyway, also from back home, Denmark. So again, I got these through my mum, so she bought them and sent them to me. And it's because also I hadn't really seen something like this before. So the findings I have seen before, but not in these colors. So let me just get them out. We have some belt buckles basically. Let me just get that up. And of course that's a stable finding, but I've never seen them in these. First of all, the rose gold color, which is a very beautiful one. Very nice and bright, which is what I personally prefer. And that's quite a large one there. And then obviously the rainbow one, which I'd never seen metal findings like this, and the belt buckle there in the rainbow finish. And same thing with this. So again, looking at that lovely rainbow color all the way, completely coated in that. And it's this kind of clasp where then has these kind of ends where this will be perfect to use for something like macrame, and use this as the clasp, because you can obviously attach your cards there to these ends on both sides. So I just thought it'd be really fun to get some of these because of the colorways. And we then also have these, which I forget the word for them, or the name for them. But what I have used these for before is basically making bag charms. So I like them for that. Obviously they have plenty of uses, but that's what I kind of like, where you can then attach a charm down here and then easily clip that onto a bag or whatever you want to. And again, it's just because this lovely bright rose gold color and then also the rainbow color, I hadn't seen them in those finishes before, so I had to get a few of them just in case I make anything like that. I can use these colors instead of just the basic kind of steel or silvery colors they always come in. I wanted to kind of have these as another option. So that was kind of, again, just a little bit of fun and something just different colorways instead of always the typical kind of silver steel ones. So I'm pretty pleased with having them in case I need them. So sticking with findings, but moving on to some chain, because I got a few different ones over the past while. These ones here, let me just get a little bit out. again from back home, because they're also from the Noisy Bags wholesale shop. And these ones are mainly because I like to use this specific chain to, let me just get this opened as well. Like I said, I like to use this chain for something pretty specific. Now, you don't have to use a specific chain, it's just kind of what I've been doing so far, because I also, something I've had quite a lot of, but I've then recently run out, but now I'm kind of got restocked, thankfully. And this time I also thought to try it in the gunmetal one, which I haven't used before, because what I like to use this chain for especially is I have a couple of designs where I basically use wire, so a 0.4 for instance, a weaving wire, a fine one, to kind of multiple lengths of chain here, connect them together and create a solid piece, but it still stays nice and flexible because of the chain. So I do have some tutorial that I've done previously. I think it's a bracelet and a ring. And recently in a different video, I also made a bracelet but where I incorporated beads. And I have a couple of ideas that I want to play around with, but I had run out of this chain, so I couldn't really do that. But now I've got some more, so I can play around with those ideas. And again, I also just kind of wanted to not just be silver that I had, but also the gunmetal, so I could kind of do it in some other colours. So I've got myself quite a bit more of that chain, as you can see, so hopefully that should last me a little while. And continuing for the same reason, so basically the same design ideas, was that kind of jewellery that I've done with the chain previously, where I kind of connect chain together. I came across this purple chain. Now I know you can get chain in several different colours now, and it's never really something I thought about before, but then I saw this and thought that actually looks really nice. And to think to use it for the idea of having the chain obviously be the main piece of the jewellery by connecting it. And it's a really nice purple, and of course it's purple, so had to be purple. And again, for the same point of using it for those ideas, so it's not just silver chain that I'm doing, but it would then also be other colours, like in this case purple. And I got quite a few meters. It doesn't say, I don't quite remember, but it is 3 by 2mm chain, and I think they're both the same. But there's quite a few meters in each of it, because it does use a fair bit of chain with that kind of design type of connecting multiple lengths together, because obviously chain is pretty fine. Now the last chains I got is something that I keep hunting for, because I've mentioned this in previous videos. I really struggle finding nice copper chain, at least here in the UK. By nice copper chain, I mean bright copper chain, the kind that I like, so not antique copper or something like that. And what I do manage to find most of the time is more what's kind of rose gold, more like this, where it's pretty light. So this is not kind of a bright copper chain. So if I compare it to my copper wire that I use, you can see that doesn't really match. Obviously you can still use it, but I kind of prefer my chain, my copper chain, like the wire that I use, but it just seems next to almost impossible for me to find here in the UK anyway. So I've kind of just shopped around, found some things online, and again, because computer screens aren't always accurate, I've kind of tried to order a few different ones, mostly expecting them to be more like this, where they're kind of light rose gold, but not even quite rose gold, but they're classed as that when you buy them. And just to kind of give it a try and then see what it's actually like in real life. So these ones were kind of what I expected. They're a bit too light and not quite right for what I'm looking for. These ones actually are really nice. So let me just show you them. So I found these two chains on Etsy, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just get them out. And it's also a matter of the chain itself, the style of chain, because I don't kind of want something, I want a bit kind of like a basic chain that I can then use for my pendants and things like that, where the chain is literally just to carry the pendant, so I don't want the chain to be the focal piece. But this is then what I found that so far I think is the nicest. So it's from a seller on Etsy, like I said, and it's 2 different sizes of, yeah, I think it's the same chain, and it is the nicest I've found colour wise, where it's more like the bright copper. Now it's not the perfect colour match, but pretty close, but just in general more like bright copper, which is what I prefer. And then here's just a finer version. So it is a nice chain. It's not 100% perfect, and also I'm also looking for obviously something that's not too expensive, because it doesn't need to be. So this is what I found on Etsy. I do like it, and I probably will be buying more of this, because recently the copper chain that I did have, I'd run out of, so I'm kind of in pretty desperate need to find some more for the copper pendants that I make, because obviously I want to match the chain with the pendant and not use a silver chain or something like that. So that's basically the story behind the copper chains here, or kind of copper chains, more like light rose gold chains, but not quite. So yeah, I'm still on the hunt though for the perfect chain. I don't know why, but it seems next to impossible for me to find here. But anyway, I'll keep looking. And now the final thing here is something a little bit weird. So, like I mentioned, I have been doing quite a lot of wire crochet behind the scenes. And it's also for when doing wire macrame, I find that it can kind of, I don't want to say damage, but there's certain points in my fingers, because the wire keeps rubbing in certain places on my fingers, that it kind of gets really tough and sometimes can get quite painful. So for me, specifically here, and also a little bit on this finger here. So I kind of came across these and thought, why not give them a go? So these are basically, I guess you can call them finger protectors for whatever you need them for. And I have thought about something like this before, but I always wondered, I was hesitant about what was out there, because still I want to be able to feel what I'm working on. I like feeling it and with my fingertips, and I don't want to kind of say wear gloves or something, because that'll be a little bit, one, uncomfortable, but also I like the feeling of what I'm working with and being able to sense things. So I came across these, which were a little bit different than what I'd seen before. So they are, I think, silicone, and it's a set of, well, for one hand, and I've got 2, the other one's downstairs, with my wire crochet. So I'm going to be trying them out properly next time. And I didn't quite know what to expect from them, because obviously I expected them to be silicone and be soft, but at the same time they seemed quite thick, so I wasn't sure what the consistency or texture, what you want to call it, was going to be like, because I was worried it was going to make my fingers too stiff, so I wouldn't be able to move them that well. But actually they are pretty soft, so softer than I expected. So it's a little bit weird, the feeling of them. Like, they are actually very flexible, and yeah, it just feels, it's a weird sensation. It's almost like putting on a condom on your finger, kind of weird. But anyway, put that on there, and then it basically is meant to protect your fingers. So there's 4 meant for your fingers, and then 1 for your thumb that's slightly bigger, and they are quite flexible, so this shouldn't, it's a little bit tight but not too tight. And also what I was thinking, actually, because I want to still be able to feel, because where my issues are is down here, I was thinking cutting off the tip, so basically it will just cover that area, but I can then still use my fingertips to feel what I'm working on. So that's what I'm kind of planning to try out. But yeah, I just kind of thought I'd share that, because who knows, maybe others are struggling with things as well like that, because wire can obviously be a bit rough on our fingers sometimes. So yeah, that's just something I kind of came across. I'm going to give it a try. I guess I haven't got a review in the sense of how they work or how it is to use, because I've not done it yet, but I will be doing, and thought I'd just share it in case it might be helpful for anyone else struggling with a similar thing. So, like I said, they are a little bit weird, but I guess it's just getting used to them. So yeah, that was the final thing. So that was my little haul of some things that I've gathered over a fairly long period of time. Some beautiful beads and that, and a little sneak peek of something that I'm working on behind the scenes. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. If you found any of it useful, you might be interested. Like I said, I'm going to try and leave as many links as I can, possibly in the description box down below, whatever I can find. Otherwise, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.